Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're a new visitor here. And as I always say, thank you to all of you for joining me for our reading today. Doesn't need much introduction for this particular topic. It's just a good old-fashioned what is happening or coming next for you. We're just going to ask Spirit to glimpse into your timeline, give you a bit of a heads up on things coming down the pipeline that they want you to know about, maybe some predictions as well, etc., etc. So without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick our messages with. So calling on Spirit for our wonderful piles 1, 2, 3 today. Please guide us to the correct cards for our highest best good for their messages. Thank you. Okay, that one says pick me because it was about ready just to fly out. And then we already have 2. Beautiful. Talk about those in a second. And then as for pile number 3. Definitely this one right here. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Pile 2 already kind of got unveiled, but we'll talk about that in a second. As for pile number 1 over here on the left, your pile leader today is Spirit of Air with Immune System. For pile number 2, here in the middle, actually I'll make that a little bit more upright, you have Spirit of Celestial with Dream Speaking. So lots of spirit cards today. And then last but not least, for pile number 3 over here on the right, we have, a water card, Water of Water with Transceptive Resonance. Okay, so quick refresher, pile 1. Spirit of Air with Immune System. Pile 2, Spirit of Celestial with Dream Speaking. And pile 3 is Water of Water with Transceptive Resonance. Though, as I always say, you are perfectly welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide. If you're new to pick a card readings and you're like, hey, Lone Pine, help me out. What method do I do? Give me some pointers. Or you've had a really busy, stressful day and you just would love to take a little moment of peace out of said day. Please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes, take in the deepest breath you've taken all day long. Hold it. Imagine light filling your lungs as you do so. And then when you breathe back out again, that breath of release and relief and less stress, hopefully, and open your eyes. Look at these 3 different cards. Where are your eyes drawn most first? What feels right down in your gut is another method. Or sometimes when I watch pick a card readings, I'll ask my spirit guides, give me a number 1 through 3. And oftentimes I'll immediately get an answer, oh, pick pile number 2, or whatever it might be for you. That's another method you could use. But whenever you're ready, whatever method you do choose, you can drop down to the description box below, find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about what is happening next for you. See you in your reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about, quite simply, what is happening next for you. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Spirit of Air Immune System card for your pile leader today. Now, right off the bat, looking at this card, well, Immune system is quite fitting for at least a lot of us here in the Northern Hemisphere as the time of the year kind of winds down and things get colder. At least if you're watching this at the time that I uploaded it, my readings are always timeless. But if you are prompt and you're watching this right away, immune systems, as you know, are very important this time of year. Children go back to school, germs start spreading around. So maybe even some of you are sick right now. My condolences if so. Not fun getting the flu or COVID or whatever else might be fluttering around this time of year. But the reason why this card uses the phrase immune system, and obviously too has the symbolism of shields. We literally have, it looks like a sun and a moon, a shield up here, and the different layers of shielding, is because it's a card about our defenses, especially when it comes to our defenses with ideas. Either ideas that come about internally from ourselves, from our own spirit, or ideas that come from other people that we might, sometimes, of course, we'll say yes to the ideas of other people, but sometimes we get maybe a bit defensive with the ideas of other people. We're not so sure we should let those ideas, we should entertain them or let them in or work with them, or same thing too, we might even dismiss our own ideas. Maybe one day you're just having your normal morning coffee and you think to yourself, man, wouldn't it really be cool if I ... And then for some reason this defense mechanism comes up, the shield, and says, nah, maybe not. We'll put that on the back burner. Maybe not my favorite idea. The reason why I explain this, and the reason why I'm kind of describing this whole thing, is because I think, based on what this card represents, what's coming next for you, pile number 1, is a period of time where you're really being asked to peer more deeply into the ideas that cross your path, specifically where you find your shield going up with them. Sometimes it might be that some of you will have ideas come across your path in the near future that really aren't the best ideas. Like, say, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, someone says some really ridiculous idea, excuse me, at work, and you're like, oh god, I don't really know if that idea or that project would work out. In that case, it's like, oh, a good defense comes up, and it's like, okay, just be wary of that, like things like that. Or it could be the opposite too, where maybe there's periods of time here where you need to let your shield a bit down more. You need to accept more ideas from both yourself and others more. Okay, so that's a bit of the running theme so far, based on just intuitively, like maybe like why you had been drawn to this as your pile leader today. It's also a card of being honest and truthful about what you want, and both to yourself and to other people, communication, and also really looking at the purity of intentions between yourself and others, okay? Their intentions and their purity, and then your own intentions and their purity. So keep those key phrases and those themes in mind as we look through your cards. Now, we actually are going to pull, of course, your first tarot spread, just to kind of see an overall look of what's coming up that Spirit wants to give you a heads up about, as I said in the intro. And then, let's see, I think I will also pull one of the Oracle decks here. We're going to use the Sacred Destiny to start. So Spirit, for pile number 1, our pile of Spirit, of Air, of Truth. Okay, well that was quite fast. You already got the Magician pile number 1, which is often about our manifestation, the things that we're trying to bring about fruitfully. In this particular deck, it's a snake wrapping around the different items of tarot, so the wand, the sword, there's a cup in the background, and the pentacles are kind of scattered around. So it's about trying to use the resources that we have to create what we're trying to bring into being. Okay, which is very fitting with that theme that we talked about with the ideas that might come across here that you might put your guard up against for good reason, or might put up your guard up against for bad reason, or maybe not. Maybe we're a little bit too defensive with certain ideas and we should entertain them more, that kind of thing. So let's keep going with the other cards, see what else pops out. Okay, there's another one. Thank you, Spirit. So we have a time of manifestation. We have a time of, we have the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, my friend, is often a card of surprises, okay? Also, too, it can represent a time of exploring how we feel about things, because pages are students and explorers when it comes to how they interact with the element of their suit, which Cups is water, pile number 1. So interesting, we already were talking about, like, exploring how you feel about certain ideas, either from yourself or others, and then now we have a card of exploring, like, your feelings about certain things. It's kind of the same thing, but in a slightly different facet. Interesting. And how you feel about those ideas, things that are trying to be brought about to fruition and manifest with the Magician. Okay, so a lot of synchronicity so far. And then I'm going to choose the rest with my typical method here. Those are the 2 main things that popped out first. So I think, too, because of the Magician popping out so prominently, the time ahead is going to be a really good period of time for you if you're trying to manifest things or bring things about. Like maybe, you've been trying to get an idea off the ground, or you've been trying to get like a project going at work or what have you, etc. might be going on in your life. And you're kind of just, it's been like sluggish and slow, and you're like, I don't know why this thing is just not coming to fruition. This next period of time that you're going through here soon down the pipeline, and especially very soon because the Magician was the first card that popped out, will be probably more fruitful for those things that you're trying to get going. So that's one positive sign so far. Same thing too, like if you've had a lot of emotional confusion lately, you're kind of like, I don't know how to feel about certain things. Maybe it's been kind of the feeling of just survival mode and just getting things done more on like the material level. And then finally, maybe it opens up and you have like this period of reprieve from everything having to be about like survival and just getting through the day and getting this task done, etc. Things slow down, very natural for, summer moving into the winter / fall, at least if you're watching this at the time it's uploaded in the Northern Hemisphere, right? Things slow down and we have more time for that reprieve. We have more time for that ability to kind of slow down and think. Okay, so it's a really good time for thinking about our feelings too. As for the other cards, we have the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. Can represent maybe a bit of a struggle here with either reaping the fruits of our labors, or like trying to, the metaphor I often use with the Nine of Pentacles is a gumball machine. It's kind of the card of, if you put a quarter in, did you get a gumball out? Nine of Pentacles reversed can represent a time where we put a quarter in and the gumball hasn't been coming out. So we'll talk about that more in a second. Then we have the Two of Wands. Okay, plans that we've made for the future. Very beautiful with blue jays. And last but not least, we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Yes, so maybe a bit of a career or like finance focus here in the near future. You do have two Pentacles cards. That is the majority element that we have here for your spread. With the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles both reversed, pile number 1. I will expand on that in a moment, but let's also grab your Sacred Destiny card. Spirit, anything else you want to say about like the theme of what's coming ahead for them? And I'm hearing something about, and this is because the Page of Cups is right next to the Nine of Pentacles reversed, because remember what I said earlier, the Page of Cups can be a card of a surprise, pile 1, and it's right next to something that you feel like you've not maybe been getting the fruits of your labor out of, like, recently. Part of what's coming forward is a surprise in an area where you felt that frustration recently. Like, you know, maybe it's a project at work and it's just been, as I said before, like slugging along and it's going really slow, or like you're trying to, create a certain thing and it's just like, it feels like it's not been coming out as the masterpiece that you've wanted it to be, etc. Maybe you've been trying to get noticed at work for like a promotion, etc. I mean, it might be different things for each and every single one of you watching this, but either way, there's a surprise coming in that area. I probably will draw more tarot cards on that to get more clarity. Oh, we have abundance. How beautiful. Okay, so that's a really good sign, pile number 1, and that's also a clarifier, or I should say a reconfirmation of what I was just saying, in that you technically got the Nine of Pentacles reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, which can, depending on the spread, mean, struggles with finances or struggles with career and money-related things. But the fact that abundance came out just now makes me think that I was, like, right on the right track there, where, like, I think that's going to change. I think, as I said, like, you have the manifestation thing coming about with the Magician, especially right off the bat pretty soon here being the first card. The surprise coming about, which I will draw those tarot cards onto, with something that you've been trying to get your fruits of your labor out of. And then 2, we have the Two of Wands between the Nine of Pentacles reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, with the blue jays there in the middle. Ten of Pentacles reversed can represent kind of similar to the Nine of Pentacles, but it tends to be more about like inheritance or things like passed down. And then, with the Two of Wands between it, that's plans for the future. So I almost think, pile 1, that not just things that you've been trying to bring about to fruition that have been struggling recently, but also maybe plans that you've been trying to, like, solidify or bring down to, like a solid plan is maybe a way I would phrase that, regarding, like, your legacy or, like, inheritance, quote unquote. Now, some of you might literally be, like, inheritance related, either it be, like, your plans for, maybe you're trying to get, like, a will down, depending on where you're at in life and, like, what age you are, right? Some of you, it might be plans that you're trying to get down for, like, enacting a will or an inheritance of some sort, and it's been kind of sluggish or slow recently. Maybe there's been some kind of, like, legal related things, or, like, I know with will, sometimes, families argue, unfortunately. That's just what happens when money gets to the equation. Unfortunately, but it does happen. I've seen it happen myself. So that might be another aspect that is getting better, and you're going to be, like, finding more abundance in that area. Let's get those clarifier cards, though. So, Spirit, can you give me a clarifier on the Page of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles situation first? Thank you. For pile number 1. What's the surprise? What's the surprise? I want to know. I'm sure pile 1 wants to know too. Because if I'm curious about it, I'm sure pile 1 is too. We have the Seven of Wands reversed. Oh, not needing to defend ourselves anymore. Which is interesting, because we have that defense synchronicity or symbolism come up with the Spirit of Air card about ideas. Bringing those into account. Your own ideas and others' ideas, and whether or not you accept or reject them. Both internally and externally. I wonder if some of you recently have been having an issue where you had an idea for something and it got either you rejected it yourself to yourself, or like you brought it up and it was rejected by others, and it was an idea that you had regarding some way to get better fruits out of your labor. Like maybe you had this idea at work and you're like, oh my god, this is like an ingenious plan, and you presented it and it kind of just fell limply and people were like, meh. Not that it was like a bad idea, pile number one, but for some reason it just didn't resonate with others. Or like you've had to defend your ideas a lot, or defend getting what you deserve out of the labor that you put into things a lot recently. Because the Seven of Wands reversed is a time of that coming to a close. We have defensiveness, but in the reverse, it's like, okay, now we don't have to defend ourselves so much anymore. So that's the surprise coming. It's something along those lines where it's like, you won't have to defend that as much anymore for some reason, or it's like, and like, say it was an idea that you presented to other people and like they had like, say, their shields up and they were kind of like meh about it, or like it didn't resonate with them for some reason. I think that might be a deception, pile number one. I think it might have resonated with them more than you thought that it did. And that's the surprise, is maybe like there's been something kind of waiting in the wings underneath your attention. Like, say it was an idea that you presented to your manager, just as one example, might not resonate with all of you. And like you think your manager kind of was meh about it, like, I don't know, whatever, we'll think about it, right? But then it's like all of a sudden in the near future here, the boss comes back to you and is like, well, wait a minute, actually that was pretty ingenious. Let's try that. It's that kind of thing. Like all of a sudden you get this like complete 180 turn on, like maybe they had to try a different idea first and then they came back and they're like, oh, you know what, actually pile one was right. I think their idea was actually really good. It's something like that. It's just you don't expect it because of that Page of Cups energy. And then let me grab a clarifier on the Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles here. Same thing too with that, Spirit. Thank you, clarifier. But yes, just as I shuffle this, just with the combination of like the Magician and the Abundance card, pile one, it's just a great time in terms of you manifesting. Okay, we're on this side of the deck. Okay. It's a really great time in terms of you manifesting the things that you've been trying to get done or like bring about to fruition. Right there, that one. Okay, thank you. So Two of Wands and Ten of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Wands, all about our confidence. Okay, so I wonder if part of what has been impeding progress recently with your plans regarding like your legacy / inheritance there with the Two of Wands with the Ten of Pentacles reversed energy that we discussed has been a lack of either being able to stand up for yourself, or it's been like you have lacked like the confidence to stand up for yourself in this area. Okay, it could have been that like you had plans and you were trying to get them forward, but then it's like other people got in the way, or some sort of obstacle kept kind of blocking you from making like solid plans. And it's interesting because you have in the Wands suit with this particular deck, it's like different stems of like plants. So you have the stems of the plants here in the mouths of the blue jays with the Two of Wands, and then you have it in the paws of, I believe that's a chinchilla, if I'm not mistaken. Anyone in the comments, feel free to correct me. I think it's a chinchilla. In the paws of the Queen of Wands. And so it's like something that finally you're like able to grasp. It comes into like solidity. It finally is able to and like you're able to like confidently present it, bringing in the energy of the Queen of Wands being a very confident, charismatic character, especially when it comes to our ideas internally, because the queens of tarot are feminine energy, and those are more internally focused energies, pile number one. They're not so much like outside action oriented things like the masculine kings. They're more about like, how do we feel confidently about our own ideas with our plans? Okay, so that ties in with that Spirit of Air theme, as I discussed earlier, about maybe not so much rejecting your ideas and putting up like a shield against your own ideas internally outright. So if I did have one piece of advice in this area in the near future for you, pile one, it would be to make sure that when you have ideas come up regarding your legacy, your inheritance, or like anything kind of financial, career related, don't immediately put up a shield against those ideas internally and like dismiss them as like, oh, well, that's dumb. Or, oh, well, I don't know, I'll just put that on the back burner. Oh, well, whatever. Act upon them, because this is a really good time for that manifestation, as the Magician indicated at the very beginning. Okay, it would be a good time to act on those ideas. It would be a good time to try to bring about those ideas. Okay, so don't hesitate with ideas here in the near future. Okay, things like that. Now let's look at some of your other oracle cards now that we've got some clarity on the tarot spread. Anything else you want to say, Spirit, to pile 1? Anything else about their near future? What's happening next for them? Okay, let's see. So this part of the deck. Ooh, that one for sure. Okay. Thank you. Restriction. Versus letting go. We have Joy Guides number 38. Interesting pile, number 1. Restriction versus letting things go. Yep. So that's, I apologize, it's kind of similar to your pile leader card, so it's going to be a bit repetitive. But when we see repetition in readings, at least the way I interpret them, is it's really an underlined statement from Spirit is how I would put it. And what I see as the underlined statement here for you is this idea of really just like letting go more. Don't be so restrictive with your ideas. Don't be so restrictive with I mean, even if you have a strange, odd whim one day, like what's coming to my mind is maybe you don't typically go and get coffee at a coffee shop. Maybe you're like me. Like, for an example, I just stay home and I just drink black coffee. That's just my thing. I'm a black coffee kind of person. I'm like, I'll just do it cheap at home. But, every once in a while, something will strike our whimsy. We'll kind of think to ourselves, well, maybe I'll just visit that coffee shop that I've been eyeing up that just opened up in my neighborhood today. Give in to whimsy, give in to ideas that bring you beyond the boundaries here of what you typically do or what your typical routes are. Don't be afraid to expand horizons, especially for those of you too that maybe some of your ideas revolve around like education or like going to a new class or, sometimes it doesn't even require like money or a class or anything or like a university related thing. It can be literally go online and studying something new, like a new hobby, like knitting or I personally like soap making. So soap making, there you go. Go learn soap making. Be careful with lie, right? Things like that. Whatever might catch your fancy. Because there's something there too about a lot of good manifestation coming from you not holding yourself back when it comes to ideas on that side of things too. Especially when it comes to ideas that bring you joy. That's another emphasized message here. Okay. Anything else, Spirit, for pile number 1? We have the Healing Spirits Oracle. I don't use this Oracle deck a lot, but I felt called to use it today for some reason. Oh, well, definitely that one. Okay, thank you. Look at that. You have the ability to affect your own destiny, number 41. Yes, so that's another really emphasized message here for you in the near future too. Pile 1 is the idea of taking the reins of life into your own hands more. Not that the universe isn't giving you help here in terms of manifestation or like bringing about the things that you have as you're like reaching your goals, just as one example. It's not like the universe isn't helping you. I think it is. Obviously, you have abundance, you have good tidings and luck in terms of manifestation with the Magician card and whatnot. And of course, too, like things like the surprise at the Page of Cups helping you with the ideas that you've been having to defend or, getting the more fruits out of your labor, etc. The things that we discussed before. But what is really emphasized is how much power you have in your own hands if, and here's the operative thing, if you get out of your own way, is because how I would kind of put it. I think maybe recently, and maybe that's where the confidence message of the Queen of Wands really is coming forward strongly. Maybe recently you've felt a little bit more timid about indulging in your joys or indulging in your ideas or indulging in things that make you feel alive or things that you want to pursue, etc. And Spirit is saying in the near future just to kind of let that, throw that caution to the wind there in that area of your life here, because there's so many good things that will come out of you taking the reins and saying, you know what? It's ironic actually though, pile 1, because I say take the reins, but then I'm saying take the reins to restrict yourself less, which is weird because reins usually are restrictive. It's odd. It's one of those, what do you call that? An oxymoron, right? But it's true. So it's like the more you take control over your direction, the more freedom that you will have. Okay, so really think about in the near future, where is my joy? What is joy to me? What ideas that I have or that I hear from others make me happy, no matter how silly they might seem, or however much I might immediately dismiss them and throw them down, like, I'm not going to do that. That's silly, right? Because I think what I'm hearing intuitively, pile one, is this is a really good time to, for the universe, and this is where the universe's power comes in. I almost feel like they're telling me that it's like setting you up for something more in the future in terms of a path of some sort. It's one of those times where it's like they're laying the brickwork for you, the universe, in order for you to have the choice for like a different path in the future, maybe like a more prosperous and like happy one. But it requires you to first at least admit that maybe your joy is something that you need to reach for more. And your ideas are things that you need to entertain more. Okay. So it does require a little bit of elbow grease, at least on the spiritual, emotional, mental level from you. Despite how much I think the universe is helping you with this. But that's because, like, it needs you to enact those mechanisms in order to, like, help push you even more towards that direction, towards that greater path, okay? So it's a very, if I had to summarize this near future for you, pile one, it's a very preparatory stage for things that are even greater. You do have good luck, and you do have good abundance, don't get me wrong. But just open your mind to joy. Open your mind to new ideas. Open your mind to surprises that might come your way, okay? I do see it as a very good time for you, especially after all that struggle we were talking about with the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Not a fun time. But now you are moving into what seems to be a greater time, as long as you allow yourself to take up space and to entertain your ideas and to enjoy abundance, okay? So, that's your reading for today, my wonderful pile number one. If you liked it, if it helped you, if it resonated, please like the video, comment down below, or subscribe if you haven't done so yet already. And my greatest thanks if you choose to do so. Any one of those 3 things. And as we say in our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile one. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what is happening next for you. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card Spirit of Celestial Dream Speaking for your pile leader today. Now, this card is all about where our creative energy meets the mundane. So I do see this period of time coming just ahead of the time that you watch this video for you as a really great time of fruition regarding anything creative that you do. So I don't care if you are like a painter, I don't care if you're a musician, I don't care if you're a writer, I don't care if, even if you aren't, like, you don't technically consider yourself like an artistic person, there is creativity and artistry even in what seems to be the most mundane or logical quote-unquote things, okay? So either way though, the period of time coming up ahead for you is very fruitful for these pursuits. So if you have maybe recently been, working really hard on a book or writing some music, some lyrics, or maybe even more like the instrumentation side of things, or, same thing too if you are a painter, maybe even like projects at work that, like I said, technically seem like they'd be more logical, but do require creativity on some aspect. This period of time is going to be fantastic for those things, okay? Especially if, I don't know, maybe some of you are publishing a book or publishing music, publishing some art, etc., what have you. Because this card is about how we tell our story to other people. And it's also about kind of seeing ourselves as heroes on a journey in life, as if we were the protagonists of our own story too. So, a lot of you actually might be really big readers and writers in this particular pile. Maybe that's why you were kind of intuitively drawn to this particular card. Let's see, anything else I'm picking up from this card? Oh, that was the only other thing I had come up in when I meditated on the card before I, started recording, was to make sure that you're not afraid to share your story with others here in the near future in this period of time, okay? There's something very specific about that kept cropping up. And some of you might share that story in those creative pursuits. But even if you don't, something about opening up to others and sharing your story is going to be crucial to something within this period of time. So without further ado, let us look at some of your other cards. We're going to draw your tarot spread, of course, to begin, and then one of the oracle decks. So Spirit, for pile 2 today, could you tell me a little bit more about what's happening next for them, some predictions, maybe even more about this creative stuff, etc. Thank you. I don't know why this is coming up. This is really odd. Are some of you going on a boat soon? Like, I don't know if some of you are going on a cruise or like something with a boat. I don't know. It's just really random. It came forward. I do see good things happening regarding a boat. I don't know what's this really random, but some of you, when I say random stuff, you're like, oh, that resonates. I'm like, okay, so good thing I mentioned it. That's why I don't usually hesitate to mention the weird stuff, but I think some of you are going on a cruise or something, or like there's something to do with you crossing water in some way. I think most of you it's by boat. Okay, we're going to start here. So let's draw the cards. If you get the Chariot, I'm going to laugh. We'll see. And then we're going to draw your oracle deck card too to start here. Well, if some of you are going on a cruise ship, feel free to weigh down in the comments down below. Tell me what cruise you're going on. I want to know. I'm very curious. I've never actually been on a cruise myself before. Sounds really cool though. Oh, that one for sure. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So oh, beautiful. Sacred Destiny card today is Blessings. And there we do have some water. It's not an ocean. It's a little bit of like a creek or a stream. We have Blessings. So already a really good sign for the near future for you off the bat. Pile number 2. Look at that. Almost looks like, I'm not sure what bird that is. Almost looks like a goldfinch because of the colors of the feathers, but looks a bit more tropical maybe than that. And Blessings, yeah, with almost looks like sakura blossoms. Maybe some of you are going to Japan. Maybe it's a cruise to Japan. That's what I think of when I see sakura blossoms, right? Okay, and then we have, Judgment reversed. Interesting. Judgment reversed. We'll see what that means when the other cards come out. Oh, look at that. We have a red panda. Speaking of Asia, right? Maybe some of you are going to Asia. I'm not sure. So we have a red panda here with the Page of Wands, exploring our passions. Okay, that's why that came up. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we have, the Devil. Oh boy. Holding ourselves back, yes. Okay. 5 of Wands, lots of fire energy. Maybe some of you are fire signs. Put that Blessings card up here a little bit. And then last but not least, we have, another Wands, but 9 of Wands reversed this time with the horse. All right, pile number 2. So the creativity message is repeated here. That's what I was saying before when I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. Because we have Judgment reversed as your first card to start. And Judgment reversed, pile number 2, is often about a feeling that we're not moving up fast enough, or a feeling that we're not leveling up fast enough. I like to use the level up metaphor with that. Or sometimes it can literally mean a feeling of we feel like we're being judged poorly. So I don't know if, especially for those of you that are in like creative fields or you do a lot of creative things, harkening back to your pile leader, I don't know if recently like you got like bad judgment on something that you've been creative with. Like maybe, if you write novels, maybe you submitted a manuscript to an agent and you're getting a lot of rejections, just for one example. Or it could also be like, I don't know quite as much about like the art world or excuse me, the music world. Kind of extrapolate that to your particular situation, just using, the novel example. But it feels like it might have been some sort of rejection recently. I mean, maybe you've really felt like you've had to explore a lot about, well, what do I really want to do creatively? Do I want to keep going with this idea that I have, or do I want to do something new because this has been rejected because of this bad judgment? Or it could also be self-judgment too. It might not be other people, pile number 2. It might be you literally judging yourself too hard. Like, oh, my work sucks. And then it's like that perfectionistic thing. So I'm just going to go do something new, and like I'm going to explore this over here. I'm not going to finish this manuscript or this song or this piece that I'm painting or drawing, whatever, etc. And the reason why I say that is because you also have the devil too, of course, next to the Page of Wands as well. It's that bad judgment or negative judgment regarding like what we explore with our passions with the Page of Wands, and also like it's in a way holding us back with the devil card. That's what that means. Okay, so this is like the energy leading into like your near future here. And so Spirit is asking you, because of the influence of that pile leader, of please create and share more. Literally, like the card is like begging you, just create and share more, tell your story more. That I think you're going to move into a time, if you allow yourself, this is where your choice comes in, if you allow yourself of feeling less restricted with your creativity and feeling less held back with your ideas and feeling less like, I mean, some of you, the negative judgment too, and this is where the level up metaphor comes in with the judgment card. It potentially might also be like a negative judgment in terms of you feel like you're not on other people's level. Like you feel like, oh, other people are so much better than me. I'm so bad at whatever I do. Or like maybe you compare yourself to your peers a lot with the things that you create. Like maybe, you know, if you're an author and you have author friends and, you know, oh, they just get accepted left and right with their agents, but you have like this one query that you keep trying to pitch and just isn't landing anywhere. That kind of like negative self comparative judgment too. Spirit says to let that go here in the near future, because there are blessings, hence your blessings card, coming in terms of not having to fight so much. And I say that because you have next the Five of Wands next to the Nine of Wands reversed. The Five of Wands is often a card of the conflict of creativity or the conflict of ego. Sometimes is another interpretation because it is a fire card. You have a lot of fire cards here, actually, pile number 2. Tend to be makes sense with your pile leader. Maybe you're really creative people. But yes, conflict, fighting, and not harsh fighting like the Five of Swords is. The Five of Wands is all about kind of the clashing of butting of heads, of like egos, of willpower, of passions, those kinds of things. But then you have the Nine of Wands reversed, which is literally a card of letting down the sword, letting down the determination to fight, and being able to relax again. Okay, it's kind of a after the battle kind of feeling when it's reversed. And so a lot of these battles that you've been having recently, however, what I've been saying so far resonates with you. In general, for all of you, those battles are coming to an end. It's going to be a time here in the near future of, as long as you don't hold yourself back, that's that piece of advice. Don't judge yourself too harshly. Don't imprison your ideas. Don't imprison yourself and get mired in bad self-judgment. As long as you don't do that, asterisk, you'll find things are a lot easier. You'll find more blessings entering your life here. I will draw some extra cards of clarity on like specifically what else they might want you to do with these creative projects, or even if you're finding that part isn't resonating, like maybe you're watching this and you're like, well, Lone Pine, I'm not a very creative person. I don't have a book or like a piece of art or music that I'm trying to get out there, right? Take the creativity point and adjust that for your situation in terms of, you know, maybe it's like projects at your job or other ideas that you have with your own hobbies, okay? Like anything along those lines. But yes, let's ask Spirit. Spirit, can you tell me more about... Oh, let's see, what was the question I was going to ask? Like what good things... I'm going to ask what good things are coming if you don't restrict yourself. What good things will come if they don't restrict themselves, if they let go of that devil judgment energy? See, that's the thing, is you need to be the Page of Wands there, pile number 2. You have to be that little red panda, not afraid to explore your ideas. We have the Seven of Pentacles, planting seeds for the future, especially when it comes to finances and material success. That's why pile number 2. If you don't get in your own way, and you don't get mired in bad self-judgment, or you don't let the judgment of others affect you as much, You're planting very good seeds for the future in terms of success, okay? Especially financial, material success, because this is a Pentacles card. It's the first, I think it's the first Earth card, isn't it? Yeah, first Earth card of your suit today. Or your spread, I should say. And then why else? Pile number 2. Let's see. And then the 4 of Wands reversed. Interesting. 4 of Wands reversed. Especially clarified by the 7 of Pentacles. Oh, that's why. Because the 4 of Wands can be a card of celebration. It can also be a card of happiness in the home. It's especially good for planting seeds for the future, for the success of your home in some way. Okay. Like, say it is a novel that gets accepted and you get a really good, what do they call it? It's like with the initial amount you get paid right away. It's not royalties, but like usually when authors get a book published, they initially get like a sum of money. Those in the comments down below. For some reason, it's evading my mind. Comment down below if you know what that's called. But yeah, it's like the initial sum of money that like an author gets when they publish a book, right? Like, you might be getting a bigger sum than you're expecting, and that would be like good for in terms of like paying down like a home mortgage or like putting a down payment on a home or something along those lines. Like, that's one way that might manifest. And then 2 with celebration as well. It's like maybe 2, like this period of time is, especially for those of you that maybe have been published before or you've done something in the area that were like you feel resonates with what I'm talking about, books or not. Like, you succeeded before, but it like wasn't like the biggest thing, and then it's like, oh man, I really wish I could get noticed more. I wish I could, get bigger and better and things like that. Maybe that's where that negative self-judgment comes from. And then it's like, if you allow yourself to explore, this idea will come forward that will get you the bigger thing that you're looking for. But you won't get that, pile number 2, if you let that bad self-doubt get in your way. Okay, so Spirit is like begging you, like, please, please, please do not restrict yourself in this near future. Okay, because those good things are coming if you don't. Those blessings. Right? Let's see. I'm also going to draw one more tarot card on the blessings card, and then we'll also draw your final oracle card. So, Spirit, any more clarification on the blessings coming forward too? I know we talked about planting seeds for the future, good material success, right? Also lots of abundant creativity, etc., those types of things. I feel like, and I don't say this very often, and those of you who watch my readings will know this, that I'm being honest when I say that. Some of you might be getting a bigger surprise than you're expecting here. Like, I got a feeling down in my gut of like a really, in a good way, it's a good thing, a really good, shocking, like, oh wow. And I was like, look at that, I would not be surprised if you get the Chariot, because I was talking about the cruise earlier, right? The Chariot, which is literally about, like, sometimes it's a card of vehicles, right? So that can mean, like, a car, literally, or, like, a cruise ship, for example, or a boat, as I was explaining earlier. But it's also a card of, like, driving forward with progress, of making movement forward, blessings. So you're having, in this near future, a lot of blessings regarding forward momentum, okay? Forward momentum, okay, so wonderful. Especially those of you that have been feeling like lots of blockages recently in terms of progress with things, that's where a lot of blessings are coming forward for you, is in that area of, okay, things are going to go speeding up, things are going to go well. I'm trying to really hone in on that feeling of that big surprise, like the good, shocking thing. While I shuffle the cards, I'm going to ask Spirit to maybe kind of send a message. One moment. For some of you, the big surprise I'm seeing is literally like, it's like, I see someone like handing you something. I don't know if it's an award. It really depends on what area of your life we're talking about. But like, I feel like some of you might be getting an award for something. It's like they're handing you something, and it's like a commemorative, like, good job type of celebration thing. It's not a trophy. It almost looks more like, I don't know. It's something I think some of you are getting an award for something. I don't know what it would be. Each and every one of you will be different as to what that award is, depending on what you're getting an award for, obviously, but I think that's what the big surprise is. Okay, so keep an eye out for that pile number 2 in the near future. I think some of you are going to get some sort of commemorative award, like for something that you did. And then we have, look at that. We literally have the card of surprise. Okay. Well, that just kind of confirmed what I was just talking about. Anyways, thanks, Spirit. Thank you. I like it when you confirm what I say. We have number 42, surprise with joy guides. Yes. Okay, so something shocking. That's literally what I was picking up on intuitively just now. And then all of a sudden, bloop, here comes out this card of surprise. Yeah, I think... I think a lot of you it is an award of some sort. Okay. Oh man, I gotta draw another tarot card on that. I have to draw another tarot card. Okay, I'm sorry. Spirit, if you can, give me a little bit more distinctive detail. What is the surprise? I swear to God, if it's the 6 of Wands, it might not be. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we literally have the World, and interesting, we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. It's oh, that's why. Okay, so it's a surprise regarding the end of a cycle of misfortune, because the Wheel of Fortune reverse tends to mean like misfortune or like bad luck, but you have that clarified by the World card, which literally means like the ending of something coming to an end. And then once again we have koi fish. So I don't know, like some of you maybe are going to Asia. I don't know, but yes. Actually, it looks like koi fish. I think it might be goldfish. I don't know. I think they're koi because they have whiskers. But yeah, so it's a surprise regarding the end of a cycle of misfortune. Okay, that's what Spirit wanted to tell you in terms of that surprise. Oh, that was cool. I was like, oh, someone's going to shock you. And then the surprise card came out. I love when that happens. Anyways. Okay, Spirit, anything else you want to tell pile number 2 about the near future? So we didn't get the 6 of Wands like I was joking about, but you did get a card that's kind of similar in terms of... Because the 6 of Wands, the reason I said that was because the 6 of Wands tends to represent victory, especially like public acclaim, which would be like a card of like an award of some sort. But you did get a card, or at least the 2 cards, about ending a cycle of misfortune, so... Very good things coming for you, pile number 2. I'm excited. It's a good reading. I love when I'm able to deliver happy messages. I don't like negative messages. I mean, I'm honest when they come forward, but it just makes the happy messages all the sweeter. So we have, don't fear change, embrace it, and grow. Okay, so number 34. Past, or like, not past. Or maybe I said the word past for a reason. Yeah, it's something about like, don't cling to the past, they're saying. But what I was meant to say before the word past came out, pile number 2, is in this near future, do not hesitate to let go of the old. And also, if there's any parting advice, like main in your face, like a mantra to keep in your mind every single morning here in the near future, it would be to always embrace the new here. Embrace new things. Some of you might even be kind of with this surprise, whatever it is. Like I said, I think some of you might be an award. You might be a little reluctant to accept it, or you might be a little reluctant to accept the change, but accept the change and don't be afraid to broaden your horizons and accept these blessings coming in. Because I do see it's a really, really good foundation for better things in the future, especially because of the energy of the 7 of Pentacles that we saw earlier as the clarifier for your earlier cards. Okay. You have a lot of really good things coming for you, pile number 2. I'm super excited for you. Lots of forward momentum. And do remember there was that little thing with your pile leader, not to be afraid to share your story. So literally that means literally writing a story. Some of you it might be in terms of just sharing more of yourself with other people, even if it's not like in a tangible way. Like writing a book down, literally. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And then we also have a lot of like sunrise colors too, so it's like a new dawning as well, especially with your 2 oracle cards here with the pink and the orange and the purple. Well, it could be also sunset colors too, and then we have the World as well, which is the card of endings. So it's like, I think too, a lot of in the near future, like old kind of dusty cycles coming to a close, especially when it comes to misfortune, right? That's a great thing with that coming to a close, but also a lot of like better like new cycles opening for you. It's really a time of a lot of good changes I'm feeling for you. Okay. So beautiful. Wonderful reading, pile number 2. So happy to give you the good news. So if you liked that reading, if it resonated with you, if it helped you most of all, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, or perhaps all 3 if you want to be extra special nice today. You're awesome if you do, thanks. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what is happening next for you. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Water of Water, Transceptive Resonance as your pile leader card today. Now, this card, pile number 3, is, well, obviously the element of water, but doubled. And when we say water in cardomancy, it represents not only the area of life regarding our emotions, it's also about our intuition, and it's also about our connections and our relationships with other people. Anything that really the matter of the heart oversees, okay? And this card specifically is about our connections to others, those other things too, but even when you look at the card, you can see it's 2 outlines of heads and 2 hands that are kind of coming together, connecting together. All right. And why I bring this up for your near future reading, why I'm saying these specific things about this card, is because I believe that in your near future, it's going to be a time of great connection with other people. Perhaps more recently you've been more isolated from others, or maybe like some of your connections have been kind of rocky. Maybe you've had a friend group where like one thing has been kind of going wrong in that friend group, or same thing too, maybe like your relationships at work have been kind of rocky for whatever reason, whatever has been causing chaos in those areas. That, I think, will start coming to a greater harmony here in the near future. And also too, it would be a really great fruitful time if you're seeking more connection, maybe making new friends, maybe seeking a partner if you're currently trying to date, those types of things. Also amending old relationships too. It's going to be a great time for if you're seeking those things. Okay. It's also a card of like dissolving our boundaries with between ourselves and others, hence how those greater connections come about because of vulnerability, because we're willing to let those walls down with others. You might also be, it is double water, so it might be also a time of like greater emotions and like our emotionality in terms of maybe you ever have those periods of time in life where like you just feel more, maybe you're a little bit more, I want to say sensitive, but I mean that with a positive connotation, pile 3, not in the negative way of like, oh, you're too sensitive. Well, I hate when people say that. But I mean that in terms of like just greater receptivity to what's going on around you. And it's kind of like your heart being a radio, and all of a sudden the dial kind of gets turned up to greater ability for your antenna to like tap into those frequencies of others. So that's why it's great for those connections with other people here in the near future for you. Okay. So being more open, making more friends, maybe finding a good romantic connection if that's something you're currently seeking, or if you currently already do have a romantic partnership of some sort, could be a time where that partnership really comes to new levels, or is very fruitful. Okay. So without further ado, let us draw your first cards. We're going to do a tarot spread and one of the oracle decks to start. Spirit, anything you want to say to pile 3 about their near future? What's happening next for them? What do you want them to know about this path forward? Okay, nothing came out. Oh, well, this one for sure is like pick me. Okay, so we're going to pick that one. It was almost falling out, but let's look at the other cards here. All right. That one right there. Beautiful. And then, speaking of that oracle deck, we will draw that next. There's something, pile number 3, they're showing me about flowers. I don't know if some of you got like flowers from someone recently, or you bought flowers for someone else. There's something significant about like a bouquet or flowers that you gave or someone gave to you. I wonder what that's all about. Interesting. Yeah, they're not saying much more about it. They're kind of cryptic about that pile number 3, so I apologize if you're like, well, what the heck are you talking about flowers for? But for those of you that does resonate, there's something they're saying. I don't know, maybe some of you had a question recently about, like how the flowers were received, or, like, why you were given flowers, or there's kind of an answer there, and that they're bringing it up. Interesting. Let's look at the cards we have. Ooh, speaking of water, look at that. You have one of the ocean cards with wisdom. All right, almost looks like a mermaid figure there at the top, kind of glowing. Beautiful with the coral reef. Lots of animals, or fish I should say, living in harmony with each other in that one giant ecosystem. Speaking of connections to others, ecosystems are a very good example of that. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's look at your cards. We have Justice reversed. Speak about that in a second as well. Then we have the World, more water. Lots of water. Some of you might be water signs, I don't know. Lots of major arcana so far as well. Then we have a King of Cups reversed. Yes, more water. Okay, water everywhere. Then we've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, and then we've got the Four of Swords. Okay, that's fantastic. Sometimes when the Wheel of Fortune reversed comes out, I'm like, uh-oh. But then you got the Four of Swords right after that, so it's actually a good sign, pile number 3. It means there are bad turns of luck coming to a rest because of the meaning of the Four of Swords. Now, looking at all this in totality, I wonder, let me try to tap into that flower message again. Is there anything here I'm seeing? Oh, or that if some of you are considering sending flowers, they're saying don't hesitate to do that. Or a gift, even if it's not flowers. It's something to do with that message of, like, connecting with others. They're saying don't hesitate to send the gift or receive a gift, especially in terms of, like more meaningful gifts, like, say, a bouquet of flowers would be. But overall, pile number 3, flowers message aside, because I know some of you that might not resonate. We have an interesting spread here. Lots of major arcana. You've got Justice, the World, and the Wheel of Fortune. And for those of you not familiar with my readings, when a lot of major arcana pop up in a reading, that tends to represent a time of life that is quite pivotal. Lots of major things happening. Now, don't get scared when I say that. I do see positive things happening here because you technically do have some negative cards, but the beauty of the negative cards that you have is that right after each one, you have a positive card giving a little bit more clarification to the meaning. So, for example, in the very beginning, you have Justice reversed. On the tin, that looks like, oh, well, injustice, or something's going to happen, or will happen that's unfair, right? But then you have the World after it. And the World, pile number 3, is the card of endings. It's the very final card of the major arcana, being number 21. Basically, the World says this cycle is coming to a close. So if you recently have had a cycle of some sort where there's been a lot of injustice or a lot of unfairness to you, especially to if some of you have been having issues regarding, like, legal matters, maybe a court battle of some sort or some sort of, like, legal system issue, that's coming to an end here very soon, especially because that was mentioned first as your first 2 cards. That means, like, a very soon kind of message with Spirit, being that was, like, what they wanted to have come out first, right? So for those of you where that is coming to an end soon, or I'm sorry, you've been having those issues, that is coming to an end soon. I will draw some clarification on that because I want to kind of ask, like, well, what's the, some of you might be obviously like, oh, thank God that court battle is going to be done, or this legal issue is going to be done. But I do want to ask, for some of you that want to know more about, like, how it comes to an end or why, let's get an answer on that. Spirit, anything else on that Justice, World reversed kind of thing going on? Right there. Okay. We have, oh God, we have another major arcana. We have the Tower reversed. Okay. What you thought was going to be a disaster regarding some legal or unfairness matter, you're avoiding the disaster, pile number 3. And I really hope that that message is really relieving, because I know if I were you and, like, I was having that issue and I'm like, oh God, this is all going to blow up in my face, it's going to be horrible. You're avoiding a disaster with the Tower reversed having come out. Fantastic. Once again, it's one of those cards where it comes out reversed and you're like, oh, it's actually a good thing. You thought it was going to go bad. It won't. And the world means it's going to come to an end. It's the end of a cycle of this misery regarding the injustice or the unfairness, or like I said, it might be like a court or a legal battle related issue going on. That will finally come off of your shoulders. I'm happy to report to you. Okay, so that's one thing coming here in the near future. Then you have the King of Cups reversed. Speaking of water, I believe that is technically a flamingo because it's pink, right? And the King of Cups reversed can represent a time where we're not necessarily, or what's the word? We might angle more towards trying to hide our feelings away. Okay. And that's very connective with your pile leader. Everything we said about water in terms of this is a great time for your connections with others. So with the King of Cups having come up reversed, it's like a really strong extra nudge from Spirit here in the near future pile 3. Please do not hesitate to share more of your emotions with other people, especially in connections that you want to deepen. All right. Because the King of Cups, kings in tarot are masculine energy, and masculine energy in tarot represents our external actions, things that happen outside of ourselves, or how we present things outside of ourselves. It's not so much about the internal stuff that like queens deal with. A king is more like, how do I outwardly take action or present this thing? And that's what that means, is that I don't know why, but you might feel, maybe naturally you are kind of more of a stoic reserved person, pile 3, or maybe just naturally in this near future you feel like, that emotional sensitivity we talked about before might kick in, and you're like, I don't really know if I want to share my feelings with other people. I don't know if I want to be vulnerable. Spirit is saying to let go of those fears in that area. Okay. Let go of those fears of, man, I need to hide away these feelings. I need to, I need to not express those feelings. Because you might find, pile number 3, things turn out better than you expect. And in fact, you might be looking back, I'm hearing, on sometimes that you were more vulnerable after all of this is said and done, and go, thank God that I admitted that I felt that way, or thank God that I came out and I was vulnerable about that thing, because it sets you on a path towards, the word I'm hearing is peace, greater peace than if you hadn't shared more about your own feelings. So keep that as at least a little piece of advice in mind for the near future, okay? Lean into that emotional sensitivity. Lean into that connection with others, okay? They're really emphasizing that. Then you have, once again, as I was saying before, we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed, which, on the surface is like, oh, something bad's going to happen, but clarified by the Four of Swords right after it in pile number 3. What that means is, as I said before, a cycle of misfortune coming to a rest. Because the Four of Swords is about sleep. It's about things becoming inactive, especially upright. Okay. So where you've been having a lot of misfortune recently, maybe you've been feeling like, man, I've had a really bad string of luck. Things are just not going my way. That cycle is also coming to an end. Also, too, especially for those of you that have been maybe having insomnia recently, Four of Swords coming up means better sleeping here soon, maybe because of stress is relieved off of your plate. Because I know, at least for me, when I've had insomnia, it's because I'm anxious about something, right? And so it's like those anxieties are the things that are causing your anxiousness coming off of your plate, and it's like, okay, now I can rest more too. So I do see it more as a introspective time. It's not so much a time of like fighting as it has been so far or recently. It's this near future of, okay, now things kind of finally get to a rest, finally get to a time of, like, it's kind of like in a story, like, if you, to any hero's journey that you can think of, any book, any movie, whatever, and the hero has been fighting and fighting and fighting for so long, and then there's the climax, and then they defeat the big bad, or they do the one thing that they were trying to set out to do, and then there is a denouement, they call it, or kind of the resolution after the climax. If I were to compare that to your own story here in the near future, pile 3, you're at that denouement. You're at that point of, okay, I defeated the big bad. This bad cycle has come to a close. Now I'm at a time of reflection and introspection and rest. Okay. With maybe greater connections with your buddies that you made along the way, right? With that resonance card that we were discussing earlier in the King of Cups too. And then the Wisdom card, I'm actually going to draw a clarifier on that. What do you mean by that, pile 3, or for Spirit for pile 3? Wisdom. We have the Page of Pentacles reversed. We have lots of cups again. Excuse me. Page of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Cups, and the Four of Wands reversed. Okay, wisdom regarding... Oh, okay. There's some aspect here, pile 3, of you leaving behind something emotionally. That's the energy of the Eight of Cups here, which once again is an aquatic creature being water. You emotionally leaving something behind regarding something that you were trying to explore regarding your career or your finances and related to like your home or your stability. I wonder if some of you might be getting to the point of wanting to leave a job. That might be like one way that this might manifest. Or it could also be like you wanting to leave a certain area in terms of like you want to move. Okay, that's another way that that can manifest. Even if it's not at the point of you being ready to move in terms of like the physical, like, oh, my boxes are packed, here I go. It's the emotional processing of like, oh, you know what, maybe I don't really think this place is the best for me. I think I want to explore my options and find home and security somewhere else. Okay, that's what they mean in terms of the wisdom card. So I think it's also a time of you tapping into your inner wisdom a bit more as well in terms of you listening. Speaking of resonance, right? Of you listening more internally to what is it that I really want from this particular area of life, be it your job, be it where you live, etc. Really solidifying what is right for you because of that action of the Eight of Cups being a card of emotionally moving past things, leaving things behind that don't emotionally serve us anymore. So it's also a really good time, pile 3, if I had to summarize, of you like doing spring cleaning of the heart, of you leaving behind things that just aren't good for your heart anymore and your emotions and your feelings. Of course, that does require the greater sensitivity because that's the downside of like, oh, well, in order to understand your feelings, you have to feel your feelings. And when we feel our feelings, sometimes we get those kind of like crunchy, uncomfortable feelings of like, oh man, that's that thing I didn't really want to recognize or acknowledge. But then you do, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Now I understand where this feeling is coming from, and now I know what I really want because I gave the time in my heart space to listen to what that feeling was telling me. It's that kind of time period, of, oh, that was quick. Okay. Thanks, Spirit. I didn't have to shuffle. Let's look at your Ask Your Guides Oracle. Interesting. Pile number 2 had this too. We had a surprise. Definitely going to pull clarifiers on that. So you have a surprise coming for you, pile 3. Interesting. With number 42, Joy Guides. And let's draw your Healing Spirits Oracle. And then, of course, like I said, we'll draw clarifiers on both of them, or at least the surprise one if need be. So you got a surprise coming. Anything else, Spirit, you want to tell pile 3 about the near future? Ooh. Oh, this one for sure. Okay, thank you. Be calm and keep going. Okay. Maybe a little final part of advice, at least from that particular card from Spirit. Basically, Spirit is saying it's a good time in terms of, as I said before, it's like you're coming to a greater time of peace. So we have that word calm come up, which is, like I said, a synonym for peace in terms of like things finally kind of settling down. We have those bad cycles coming to an end and whatnot, etc. You emotionally moving past things. And they're just saying, like, don't be afraid of that forward momentum. Keep going, keep walking. Okay, it doesn't have to be fast moving. It doesn't have to be that quick momentum of, like, oh, I don't need this thing anymore. And then you just toss it behind you in like a cartoonish way. But even if it's just little tiny steps day by day, pile number 3, they're saying just keep calm and get going, right? Keep calm and carry on, right? And then let's look at the clarifier for surprise. What's the surprise, pile number 3? Or Spirit for pile number 3. What's the surprise? What's that all about? Okay, well, those 2 cards are like stabbing me in the hand, so we're going to take them. Let's look at that. What is the surprise? Drum roll, please. The 6 of Cups reversed. Ah. And the 7 of Swords reversed. I wonder, pile 3, if some of you have been dealing with some sort of, speaking of letting go of bad connections, if some of you have been dealing with some sort of bad relationship or disharmonious is maybe the word I want to use, with someone from your past. Now, the 6 of Cups reversed can represent like family members in a bad way, like you maybe a sibling relationship that's not going so well, or something with your parents that's not going so well, or a friend from a very long time that's not going so well, those types of things, or just something from your past in general and connections from your past. And then you have the Seven of Swords reversed next to it, which can mean revealing a trickster or deception for what they really are or what it really is. There's a surprise coming regarding that. So I think some of you already kind of know, because of the Six of Cups reversed, who this person is. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I already know what that connection is of like that negative past influence. There's something that they've been sneaky about, that they've been trying to get away with, that they're going to be unveiled and like revealed for, okay, with the surprise. I don't think, I mean, especially for those of you that recognize who this is and you already kind of know that you don't have like the best relationship with them, it's not going to be a surprise in terms of like, oh, that shocks me. But I think for some of you, it's going to be a surprise in terms more of like, oh God, I never thought that I would find the evidence for that, or I never thought that I would find the thing that I needed to truly prove to myself that yes, maybe this, like, something's not going so well here. Maybe that's even related to the court battle for some of you, like with that Justice reverse that first popped out with the owl at the very beginning. Maybe that's like evidence that you need to prove something so that you can remove their influence from your life. It's something along those lines. I don't get a bad feeling out of this. I think it's something that, especially because of the surprise card, it's like a positive surprise in terms of revealing like trickery or deception with this past connection, okay, or like old connection. So I hope that's a good message for you guys. I hope you hear that and you're like, oh, thank God. Like I said, I'm not getting a bad feeling out of it for anybody though. So it's a positive surprise, whatever it is. Okay. So beautiful reading, pile number 3. A time of greater peace, as I said, a time of bad cycles coming to an end, a time of the denouement after all that hecticness that was going on, maybe a bit more calm and rest, greater connections with others, and of course, as we said, a good surprise, especially when it comes to revealing deceptions. So, also avoiding disasters. Remember that too with the Tower reversed earlier. Fantastic reading. Thankfully, all 3 readings today were quite positive. I like to be an honest tarot reader, so I do, when negative things do pop up, I do mention them, but I also am very glad when I can bring forward, hey, look at this great message from Spirit that's about happy things coming. So happy to report that is your reading today. It's a happy reading. So without further ado, pile number 3, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. If you liked the reading, please like, comment, subscribe, etc. All that stuff I always do a little spiel about at the end of the readings. You know what to do if you were pleased with the reading. All that stuff. You've been on YouTube before, I'm sure. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next reading. So bye, pile 3.